All right, well, this is interesting. I think this might be... Oh, look. I think I've learned something already about going live. If you've been watching this from the start, you may have seen stuff that wasn't intentional. I think I've just been caught on camera having a sip from my British Standard cup of tea. Sorry about that. That delay is pretty serious from what I can tell. Something like 30 seconds, but I guess that's one of the things I'm going to have to get used to. So my guess is, and actually this is almost a hope as much as a guess, is that very few people will be finding me live. Actually, there may be a way of me checking for that. Let's have a look. Is there a way of... Oh my goodness, I am not alone, it turns out. Well, that is a surprise. Hello, by the way, to anyone who is watching this on the replay. And fantastic. Thank you very much indeed for joining me live. This is not something I do very often on any platform. And as I recall, I think it is it the first time I've ever attempted it on YouTube? So yeah, very much in an experimental mode. Would normally be online a little bit earlier, a few minutes before the appointed hour, but YouTube was giving me a very terrifying message about my upload speed, which I think should be enough, but YouTube didn't seem happy. So I would be interested to know, first of all, if you're able to hear me. Oh, and I should probably do this in order to stop things rattling around too much. Although, will that make any difference? Maybe it won't. I'm going to try without them. Maybe I've also just learned something else that I didn't know. So if you are watching this live, I'm gonna chat. I'm gonna ask about the sound, and of course, if the sound's bad, then or non-existent. So I'm just gonna ask in the chat: is the sound okay? Can you hear me? Even if you can't see me very well, then I guess you can hear me. Lizzie Dean says, yes, I can hear you, Lizzie. Thank you very much. Excellent. So I now know I'm not alone. I'm not really sure how I feel about that. No, it's great. Thank you very much indeed for turning up live. So, couple of things on my agenda today. Oh, by the way, I should ask where people are calling in from. I think that's traditional on things like this. Lizzie, where are you coming in from? And indeed, everyone who's on there. Let's have a look. We have, my goodness, there are a few people on now. Amazing. Wow. So there is such a massive delay actually between me asking the question and you having a chance to answer it. So I will come back and check in with the chat from time to time. Anything else I have to say or should be saying before I jump into something that looks like some solid content that I may have prepared for in some way? I think we're okay. Actually, I'm just going to have one last look at something. Okay, I think we are good to jump in. Brilliant. As I said, I will keep an eye on that on the chat. So, okay. Lizzie is calling in from Kent. John from Minneapolis. Serge from Brussels. Okay. I should try my. I wonder if you are French speaking or Dutch speaking. So, bon après-midi or goedemiddag, whichever is more appropriate. Oh, and what a coincidence! Lizzie says she was born in Minneapolis. Wow. Well, welcome one and all. Oh, my phone just did something strange, so now I'm worried about that. Would quite like to be able to see whether I can see this on my phone. Not in that view. Alrighty, good. Okay, great. Right. Okay. Let's get down to it. That was 4 minutes of solid non-content. So first thing to say is you're supposed never to start a presentation with an apology, but I fear I must. If you have been following my YouTube channel, Development That Pays, for any time, you must have noticed that I've been a little bit missing in action of late. Don't know what my video count is year to date, but it's definitely the lowest in the 4 years that I've been on YouTube. But I have an excuse. I have a note for the teacher about why I've been missing in action so much. And actually, I wonder if anyone knows actually, I'm just about to ask a question, and I've already seen the answer in the chat. So I'm about to tell you why I've been a bit missing in action, and that I've been on a kind of a special mission. And I'm just interested to know how many of you have already heard about my special mission. And the key word that will let you know whether you have or not is the word frustration. So if you've seen something from me about frustration in the Agile world, then just let me know in the chat. Because yes, that's why I'm live today. That is what I want to talk to you about. And I will, of course, have to go into some background detail for those who don't know what I'm talking about. But for those who do know what I'm talking about, if you have any questions, I will definitely get to questions in due course. So and of course I have that horrible 30-second delay too. So I will check in with the chat in just a moment. But yes, so the reason for my for being neglecting my YouTube duties, my excuse starts about 3.5 years ago. So about 4 years ago, that's when I put my first video onto YouTube and hoped that no one would see it. And nobody did see it, so I was brave enough to sneak a second one and a third one. But it got to a point where I was kind of interested. I became interested in who was watching because I was getting to, I think by the end of the first year, I had something like 800 subscribers. I thought that was absolutely astonishing to me. So I began, and some of you may know, I have a thing that I do at the end of every year called the Bad Santa Survey. So I started sending those things out, and what was a shock to me is who it was that must have been watching these videos because they were replying to my surveys, because it was exactly the people that I kind of hoped wouldn't be watching. And I'm going to show you a little graph, if I'm able. Actually, that's probably a better question. Let me see if I can. Oops. There it is. My goodness, I think this might work. Okay, through the magic of television, let me see if I can cut over to this. I hope what you're now seeing is a graph. So this is a breakdown of the people who responded to my survey. Actually, this is the most recent survey, but the shape of the data has been pretty much this for every time I've done this survey, which is 4 or 5 times now. And yeah, by far the biggest proportion is made up of people who I guess I would describe them as having some level of responsibility for a team. And I'm very aware that responsibility might be incredibly indirect. So I know that a team A Scrum team, for example, doesn't report to a Scrum team. So, but a Scrum Master is, in a sense, responsible for the team's agility, if not the team as a group of people, not as in a management role. Now, the project managers and the program managers, you didn't frighten me so much, because I kind of know that world from my pre-software, pre-Agile days. But the fact that Scrum Masters and Agile coaches were watching my stuff, that frightened me a lot. I'll just come back on camera. Yeah, because I was a developer kind of observing Agile from the inside of a team, and I was kind of sneaking up these videos onto YouTube whenever I kind of had some sort of insight, or I finally understood some crazy thing about Scrum or Kanban. And, you know, I figured it out, and I thought I'd kind of share that with other people like me, other developers, maybe testers, designers, whatever. And I was kind of hoping the Scrum Masters among you wouldn't be looking. But of course, you were looking, and then I thought, well, you're kind of going to be angry, you're going to call me out. And I've definitely been corrected across the years, absolutely. I got a fairly scathing comment today about how I misled in one of my videos. And hands up, I definitely made mistakes. But mostly, I was not taken to task. And what I started to see in the comments, what I started to see certainly in the survey responses, was the idea of people taking my videos and using them, whether that be to help their team. Some of them were kind of using them to educate management. And again today I had a comment from someone saying, please make a video about this Agile stuff that I can show to my customers, so they get it and they don't try and fix everything. So that was really rather interesting. So I kind of, and this is typical of me, how I'm such a bad shot. It seems like I've aimed in one direction and I've kind of hit something entirely different. I'm just gonna check over. Oh, and I will pause there to hold on. Let me see if I can do this. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do next. I'm gonna I'll tell you why I'm doing this in a moment. I'm putting that back on the screen, not because I want you to look at it again, but because I'm gonna take a sip of tea, and I don't want to do it while I'm on camera. I will also take this opportunity to check in with the chat. Great. Okay. So, from checking in with the chat, I do know that some of you have already heard about the thing that I'm going to be talking to you about today, and which is fantastic. I think some people have not. I now know that the correct form of greeting was bon après-midi, because Serge in Brussels is in fact French speaking. So good that we've got that cleared up. And I'm going to leave that thing on screen for a while because... Oh, actually, I'm going to come back on screen very, very temporarily, and then I've got another thing that I'd like to show you. Okay. Now, so my first shock, of course, was, as I was just telling you, the shock of kind of being found out, having Scrum Masters, Agile coaches, project managers, program managers, people discovering the channel and being in a position to cut holes in everything I was doing. And as I said, being incredibly lucky that hadn't happened. Now, when I got over myself, and over my insecurities around my knowledge, what I could read in those survey results was a whole heck of a lot of pain. So the people like me who were learning from my videos, the developers and all that kind of stuff, their reaction was, thanks very much. That was really useful. I get that now. But the reaction that I got in those surveys from those of you with some kind of responsibility for the team, and possibly responsibility, well, actually quite often responsibility to the wider organization, you guys were also kind of saying thanks very much. But what I was also picking up was a whole hell of, well, we've already said the word, a whole heck of a lot of frustration. And I'm going to go back to the slide to give you a kind of a few examples of exactly what I'm talking about. So here's one. Let's start with this one. So this is from a Scrum Master. And he's answered, by the way, I should say what question he's answering. I basically asked, what bugs you? What is it that gets right up your nose? What is it that kind of spoils the whole Agile world from your point of view? And here's the answer. Organizations which claim to be Agile, but upon deeper inspection, prove to be mired in a waterfall methodology mindset. Hold on. Oh, it looks like I'm going the wrong way through my slides. Oh, interesting. I do apologise. I thought I had more quotes than that. I wish I'd brought another one with me. Well, that's amateur. She was there before. Sorry about that, folks. Hold on, I'm gonna cut back to me and then figure out what slides I have and what slides I don't. Learning all the time. Okay. Seems my slides have gone into some kind of a random order, which isn't very helpful. I wonder how you make them into the right order. Anyway, good news is I'm going to have to cherry pick these people, but I think I can get them onto the screen for you. Here's another one from a Scrum Master. Getting the notion ingrained in the minds of all participants, both team and managers, that Agile is more than just another fancy management fad introduced for making people work faster. Ouch. Let's see if I can find one more. Oops. Okay. Man, I guess I've got to juggle here. I don't want you to see me doing that. This is really... Okay, a big learning for me here, people. But there is one more that I would like to show you. I hope it's one I haven't already shown you. This is a beauty. Let me show you this one. This is a great one to finish on, by the way. While people claim to want agility, what they really seem to value is the illusion of predictability that is the waterfall. We perform estimates and treat them as promises. We report a velocity and fill our sprint to the limit, then get frustrated when we fail to fill our commitment. So I'm curious, were those kind of outlying feelings and thoughts, or are they thoughts and feelings that you recognize? What we saw there was quite a lot of frustration with the environment in which people are having to operate. So kind of this idea of being an agile island in a sea. Oh, and this is such a mixed metaphor. In a sea of waterfall. But I don't use that one again. I didn't have a good example of it in that list there, but also kind of frustration with the team. If the team would only somehow just kind of get with the program, then life would be much easier. Love to know if any of that rings true for you. again, let me know in the comments, and I will check in after that horrible delay time. Oh, John's given me a much better metaphor that isn't at all mixed. We're sort of a waterfall car with agile wheels. Oh, I really like that. Not entirely sure what it means, but I do like the vision, the image of it is fantastic. Cal said, hi Cal. Cal said, I agree with all three. Okay, good. Faisal says, same here. All three, especially with how the reality of Agile and the imagination of it. Oh, I've just lost that under my screen. But I guess you're saying the mismatch between what Agile promises and what it actually delivers. Interesting. Fantastic. Good. Well, how interesting. It seems like all the right people turned up. Fantastic. Now, I wonder if any of you are Harry Potter fans. Do you guys know the Harry Potter movies? There is a fabulous scene, and I hope this makes sense in me. I hope this makes sense the way I'm going to tell it. So, you have to know that Harry Potter is a wizard. I don't think I'm spoiling anyone's movie from this point of view. From that point of view, I think that's kind of well known and out in the public domain. But so there's a scene where Harry, the wizard, the hero of our story, is on the edge of a lake, and he's looking across the lake. And just suspend your disbelief for a second. He's looking at himself, and he is dying. So the version of him that's across the other side of the lake is dying. And I won't tell you how he's dying, but it's going to be a pretty horrible death. And our hero, wand in hand on this side of the lake, is waiting for someone else to come and sort this out. And, well, I think you can guess where this is going. No one else comes to sort this out, and it gradually dawns on him. And this is Daniel Radcliffe doing a lot more acting than he's normally called to do. It gradually dawns on him that nobody else is coming, help is not coming, and he's going to have to get with the program and sort this problem out. And just so I don't spoil the film any more than I need to, I'm not going to tell you whether or not he succeeds. Now, why the hell did I tell you that? Well, I told you that because that's kind of what happened to me, because 3.5 years ago I started to get comments of the type that I've just showed to you. 3.5 years ago was the first what bugs you thing, and that was the first time that I got the horror of, oh my god, the Scrum Masters are watching me. And secondly, geez, these guys are having a really, really rough time of it. Oh, and by the way, over the years, it's actually, I think, got worse. It used to be that it was kind of a battle between good and evil, if I can put it that way. So we were kind of right at the beginning, I think, of, or at least my view of the world was, people were either working in a conventional way. I won't say waterfall, because I'm not sure anyone plans to do waterfall, but they were either working in a conventional way or they were working in an agile way. And it was kind of quite binary. It wasn't really a difficult conversation to have. Then I guess we got into the whole, and I benefited from this massively, although accidentally, into this whole kind of, well, which flavor of Agile should we do? Should we do Scrum? Should we do Kanban? Should we do something else? And I think, and that was kind of more nuanced, a little bit more nuanced. And now it's become much more nuanced. So now we don't even have to have that kind of Agile or not conversation. Certainly in my world, which would be software, again, there are other industries which have been slower on the uptake. But the fact that it's become much more shades of grey I think has made it more difficult, again, for those of you with some kind of team responsibility. And as I think I was saying, or I hope I was saying, I couldn't see a way of helping you. And this, when I finally realized that help wasn't coming, and it possibly was me that was going to have to do the helping, I finally realized how I could help. Because the way I can help is not directly. The way I can help is indirectly. And let me try and explain what I mean by that. I am not a Scrum Master or an Agile coach. I have been a project manager in the past. I wasn't very good. So I am in awe of you guys. You guys have skills that I can only dream of. And to be honest, quite a lot of bravery as well. You step into quite an arena when you step into those roles. So I am never, and if anyone catches me doing this, please strike me down. I can tell you the Harry Potter charm for doing that if you like. But I think I've already said too much on the Potter. Please don't let me do that. Don't let me get away with that, because I am not here to improve your Scrum Master abilities. But I always knew that I could help you indirectly. That part was not something it took me 3 years to figure out. I always knew that it might be helpful for you to use my video. Well, not always, but fairly early on, I got the message that I could help you indirectly. So I could, because I had been one of the people in the team, I could help you a little bit with that. And because I've also had a management role or three, I could help you with how the management might view a project team or a product team. So I could certainly help you indirectly with the team below, let's say, and the organization above. Actually, I've got a rather nice picture that depicts that. Let me see if I can find it. Let's have a look. Again, some of you may have seen this before, but I love this picture. So does anyone recognize this? It's from my very favourite poet. If anyone knows which poet this is poet the right word for it? I'm not sure. Then you can type that into the chat for me. I'd be amused. So that's you in the middle. And another clue would be that's you in the middle having troubles of more than one kind. As I said, the team below nibbling at your toes. God, that's a horrible image, sorry. And the organisation above kind of pecking at you. I really want to pause now because I really want to know if this, if you know who this is. So I am gonna check in with the comments at this point. Ooh. Eurolite says Dr. Zeus, absolutely correct. And I'm not lying when I say that he was my favourite poet. I think his stuff is remarkable. Oh, I am hearing that there's a little bit of reverb on the sound, and that might mean that this would be a good idea. So I'm gonna go headphones and see if that helps. Yeah, maybe it was dumb to plug these in and leave them lying around. Oh, John says he thinks that Dr. Zeus does qualify as a poet, and he did make up words. His words now and then. Didn't Shakespeare make up words all the time? Shakespeare can do it. Did he do his own illustrations? My goodness, I feel like a really poor fanboy now. Actually, I'm gonna just unplug that and see if that's okay. Move this a little bit, possibly. John, thank you, John. Apparently, he did do all of his illustrations, and they're extraordinary. In themselves. Yeah, Faisal, good question. Who is that in the bottom left of the picture? Yeah, I guess that could be Should we call that a stakeholder? Possibly, yeah. Well, actually, you tell me. Who do you think that might be? Thank you for letting me share a little bit of Dr. Seuss. I will say why maybe I'll go back in camera for this. Just to say a little bit about why I like Dr. Seuss so much. So you'll know that some of the stuff he wrote was real tongue twister stuff. So the man could write stuff that was almost impossible to say when he wanted to, and also the very opposite of that. So you could write stuff that is just the easiest to read. And when you have a book that a 5-year-old loves so much that he wants the same story to be read to him every night for what seemed like months, you appreciate stuff that just rolls beautifully off the tongue and somehow never gets boring. I've read some of those Dr. Seuss stories out loud to my kids hundreds of times, and I still love them. And how he did that's amazing. By the way, does anyone know which particular book that comes from? I don't know if anyone said that in the comments yet. Just for a little bit of fun. No? I'll keep an eye. I'll try and remember to let you know by the end, and that'll be a little bit annoying. So, just check in with something here very quickly. Yeah, good. I think we are in good shape. My goodness, it's past already. Just have a very quick slurp of the English breakfast, and I'll be right with you. All right. I think I talked about helping you indirectly. So hold on, let me get... Damn! The slide that I had is now the slide that I want back. I'll find it in a second. Right. Let's have this one back again. So I already said that I think I can help you a little bit with the guy above and the guy below. And that's that indirect help I was talking about. But it took me the longest time to figure out that I can help you in another way. And that is because, and this is the thing that kind of snuck up on me, it was completely accidental, but at a certain point I looked around and realized as I was surrounded by people that look exactly like the guy in the middle there. So the guy that I couldn't help directly, turns out I know a bunch of people who can help this person directly. So and I'll just come back, I think I should be on camera to say this because I think this is really important. Like I said, I expected to sneak onto YouTube this evening and be all alone, and would almost have preferred it. But that hasn't happened, right? You guys have turned up, and this has been happening over a period of years, and I hadn't realized the power of that until relatively recently. Because if it is true that thinking about that graph again, what was that, 60-70% of the people who are following development that pays or with me in a couple of courses that I've done, there's a Facebook group, there's a Scrum Band group over there on LinkedIn. If the majority of those people are like the guy in the middle there, then that's really powerful. That's how I can help you. If I can somehow bring these people together, then maybe we can get some work done around here, and maybe we can get that work done with a little less frustration. So that was the thought that I had at the beginning of this year, at about the time when YouTube videos became thin and far between. And like a good Agile person, I had to do an MVP on it. Had to find a way of, well, that's a pretty good idea, but will it actually fly in practice? So what I did was I kind of shared what I've just shared with you. You know, I think that there might be something here. I don't know if it'll work. I don't know if it will be a complete failure, but I think we really have to try. Because there's kind of a little bit too much suffering going on out there. And what I can tell you is that not only did people turn up, but they, as I often like to say this, like the right people turned up. I think that's true tonight. And it was certainly true when I kind of put out that call. And for the last 4 months, I've been working together with 35 people who are kind of like you, or certainly kind of like that majority of people. So people with some kind of team responsibility, be it direct or indirect, and people from all over the world in all kinds of organizations, not just software by any means, and at all kind of levels of experience as well. So, people fairly new to the Agile world, all the way to kind of borderline guru people. And that, for what I was trying to achieve, and actually at the beginning I wasn't sure what I was trying to achieve, but that turned out to be kind of the perfect group of people to not only kind of test something out, but also to build something. And so that's what we've been up to, and we are now at a point where the very first fruits of our labours are ready to be shared. So I did hear at the beginning, by looking at the chat, or I didn't hear, but I read, that some of you have already seen what it is that we, at least the first fruits of our labour, and I think I may be able to put up a slide and introduce it to you properly. Where is it? Yes. Okay. This is what I could do with a drum roll. How do you do a drum roll on these things? So this is a really terrible slide. I'm really sorry about that. But I hope you can read across the top the words, the Agile Inside Out Blueprint. That is a really terrible slide. I'm disgusted with myself, actually. Hopefully not too many of you are watching this on a mobile device, although I have a horrible feeling you are. Okay. What is the Agile Inside Out Blueprint? Well, it's kind of a diagnostic tool. And the purpose, or the thinking behind it is that at any one time, and actually I think I'll, because it's such a terrible slide, I might as well come back on screen here. Actually, just before I do so, I'm just going to check in the chat. Alright, good stuff. Sorry about that. I was just checking chat. I'm coming back to you now. Back on, fade in. Alright. Where was I? Yes, so the purpose of the Agile Inside Out Blueprint is to, as I said, it was kind of a diagnostic. It works in two. Actually, I've got another slide that shows you what it is supposed to do. So, God, Gary. Maybe if I know people are going to turn up, I'll prepare a bit better next time. Thanks again for coming. Right, here's what I wanted to show you. So the purpose of the blueprint is twofold. So the first is represented by this picture. So what I'm trying to show you here is the journey of a particular Agile team. And I think you would all agree that no two Agile teams walk the same path, and they certainly don't walk the same path at anything like the same speed. But the first purpose of the Agile Inside Out Blueprint is to identify particular points along the way and to identify your particular team's point along the way. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, I guess it really comes down to. Oh, sorry about that. Just figuring out the order of events here. So, why would you want to figure out where your team is? Well, simply so that you know what to focus on at that particular stage, and that's what myself and the 35 have been working on. First of all, is it even possible? Can you identify particular stages and ask and expect almost every team to pass through a certain waypoints, even if they go kind of crazy routes between those points? Are there individual waypoints that we think an Agile team can hit? And we've kind of concluded that we think that there are. In fact, we've identified 6 such points. There's probably not, I bet there's not 6 on that, 2, 4. Okay, well, obviously I refined it a little bit. There's only 6 in the blueprint. So that's, as I said, that's the first job, the kind of diagnosis. It's like, okay, where are we now? And the second thing you're able to do, of course, because we want to make progress here, is focus on exactly those things that would get you to the next stage. Just put that up there. I'm going to cut back to that, and I guess ask you the question: does that make any kind of sense? Can you see the value in that? What I wanted to do was kind of break people out of, we have to fix every part of Agile and we have to fix it today, and try and come up with and try and narrow that down. Instead of looking at 100 things we can do today, what are the 5 things, the 3 things, ideally just the 1 thing that we can focus on now that would give us that kind of 80-20 rule benefit? What is the 20% of things that we can focus on that will give us 80% of the benefit? Okay, having shown you that, I think I can come back on screen now. Okay. Now, I could give you the blueprint, and I don't think that would be very useful to you on its own. So what we've done, I suppose I've done this mostly myself. Having worked with the team, I took the blueprint and I wrapped it up in a 4-part training workshop. What have I called it? I'm calling it a video workshop. It is in 4 parts. As things stand, as of right now, parts 1 and 2 are available to view. Part 3 will be published tomorrow. That's Wednesday, 23rd. The final part, part 4, will be published on Friday, which I think is the 25th. The video workshop is entirely free, although it will cost you an email address. I need the email address in order to be able to send you through to the correct point. So I really hope you'll check it out. I consider it. Now, don't tell anyone else this, but just between you and I, those people who turned up live, and everyone who's watching the replay, between us, the entire workshop is also an MVP. This is the first time we've attempted it. Like everything I do, I'd like to put a little overt or covert issue number on it. So I really would like you to check it out, and I really would like your honest feedback. And actually, as you'll see when you get there, there's already been some honest feedback. And apparently there's room for improvement, which is completely fine. So I hope you find things wrong with it, and I hope you will let me know in the comments under the video. So at this point, I should probably give you a way of finding that. So I'm going to grab the link It's very easy to find on the Development the Pays website, but of course I think I can just do this. Here's the link. Because I cannot do public typing, I even made a mess of that. Paste that in. Oops, did not work. There it goes. Alright, hopefully you've just received a link from me in the chat. Okay. Yeah, actually, I'm just checking that I am aware that this room, especially, isn't great for echo. Well, I mean, it is good for echo, but what we don't want is echo. I have done a few things, and in order to kind of soften the room a little bit. My next upgrade is actually to the mic, which is just out of shot here. I'm going to drag that in for you to see it, at least the back of it. This mic is not ideal for this application. It kind of its coverage is a little too broad. I have a new mic that I've yet to install that should be better and should help with some of that echo. So yeah, apologies for the sound. We can do better, and we will. So now, just to sum up, although I'm sure it doesn't need very much summing. I'm just going to put that picture back on if I can find it. So yes, this is not just a blueprint, it is an entire video workshop, as I said, and it breaks down roughly like this. The first video is kind of an introduction to the background, the reason for it. In as I think I said, there are 6 stages in the blueprint, and in the second video we go in deep on the first 2 stages, and to help you implement that, what you kind of learn in that video, there are also a couple of checklists that I let you have. So there's one for those of you doing Scrum, there's another for those of you doing Kanban, which actually also begs the question, I wonder if any of you are doing something other than that. Perhaps you could let me know in the chat. In the third video, that's the one that's due out on Wednesday the 23rd, I introduce you, we kind of do a whistle-stop tour of all of the blueprint, one end to the other, and I also finally let you get your hands on a PDF of that blueprint. And then on the final video on Friday, I talk a little more about what the glorious 35 have been doing in the background, and what you might want, and whether you might want to join the 35. But that's we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. As I said, I would love you to check this out, and I would love to hear any or all feedback. And those of you on the call right now, the ones who have jumped in, I wonder if you have how you found it so far, and whether you have any questions, because I'm here now. I may be able to help out. You never know. So at this point, I have to fill. Wait for 30 seconds to go by. And what I will do, I'm coming back on camera in a second, but I'll just take another slurp from the British Standard cup of tea. All right, let's just. How else can I? There we go. Back with you. What else did I want to say? Yes, very, very important detail. The workshop, as I said, is free, and I can't wait for you to jump into it. However, there is some urgency. At the end of the month, I am taking it down. And when you get to video 4, you'll probably be able to figure out why it has to go away at the end of the month. So you do have plenty of time to check it out. I think the longest of the videos is just a shade over 10 minutes. So it's not going to take you a long time to get through it. I think the content is good, but of course you will be the judge of that. Wonder if there's anything for me to have a look at in the comments. Serge says no questions yet. Okay, grand. And a couple of people talking about the echo. Again, yeah, sorry about that. I have high hopes for my new mic. I hope that will sort that out. Yeah, so I think that is just... Oh my goodness, people have actually liked this video. That is extraordinary. Maybe, just maybe I will do this again. This has been a pretty good start, I think. Oh, I'm seeing some activity. Lizzie says, I'll check it out with my Scrum Master tomorrow. Excellent. I would love... See, I've got a volunteer now. I'm ready to hear comments and criticism from Scrum Masters. No longer am I trying to fly under the radar. So I'm not sure if we have any questions there. As I said, it would be useful for me to... if you don't have questions now, that's completely fine. But when you get into that, into the course, into the video workshop, and you do have questions, comments, concerns, I will take them all. Please do add them into the comments. All of the videos are actually hosted on YouTube, so it's the comment system that I hope you all know and love. And yes, thumbs up and thumbs down are also a possibility. So yeah, very much looking forward to you checking it out. As I said, it's been quite a labor. I have to say, a labor of love. Not just on my behalf, but all of the people who kind of got involved. There's been kind of wailing and gnashing of teeth along the way, but it's fantastic to finally be at the point of being able to share this stuff with you. So, I said before Lizzie was going to share something with a Scrum Master, and turns out our timing may be perfect. Let me read, or maybe you can see what she said, but I'll read it for the benefit of everyone else. He's been a Scrum Master for about 6 weeks, and we haven't successfully completed a sprint yet. So, oh dear. I tell you what, there's a thing called the Agile Inside Out Blueprint, and you might have found it at just the perfect time. So yeah, find that link. It is in the comments there. Very easy to find on the homepage, front and center, developmentthatpays.com. Look for the word frustration, and that will definitely lead you to the right button to click. And I had no clue that I would still be here 54 minutes after starting. So, extraordinary. Thank you very much indeed for turning up. As I said, I didn't expect anyone, not least because when I clicked the button in YouTube, it said, make sure to let everyone know at least 48 hours ahead of time. And I thought, okay, 48 hours. How would 48 minutes do? It was about that. Maybe a little longer than 48 minutes. So, yeah, again, thank you for everyone that came. I do want to be respectful of your time. There is a little... At this point, I kind of feel it's for good luck. Oh, yes, I almost forgot. One important piece of news. Or not news, but I promised to talk a little more about Dr. Seuss. So that thing, and you might recognize the line, troubles of more than one kind. That Dr. Seuss is, I think the book is called I had trouble getting to Sola Solu. where people have problems. Well, oh no, where people don't have problems, at least very few. You see, this is why Zeus is the master and not me. Yeah, Faisal says, I will wait for tomorrow's video before my questions start pouring in. Interesting. I thought, and this shows you how I get stuff wrong all the time and why it's important to test and iterate, right? We know that as Agile people. I thought people would freak out when they saw video number 2. So I won't say anything more, but when you get to 2, see if you can figure out why I thought that would be controversial. Because I have been surprised at the lack of pushback. Video 3, I'm not sure how that one will be received either. I don't have any particular concerns, but yeah, in a way, I'd be pleased if it's just a little bit controversial. So, but we will see. Oh, Daryl says, oh, Daryl, hi. Daryl says, are you saying Zeus or Dr. Zeus? Oh my goodness, are they not pronounced the same? Maybe I've been saying that name wrong all this time. Daryl, you know me, I'm not great on getting people's names right. Not even my favourite poet. Zeus? Oh, it's Zeus. Is it Zeus with a S sound? That would make more sense. So Zeus versus Zeus. Dr. Zeus. I can do that. I can get used to that, but it may take a while. Thanks for correcting me. Great. Yeah. The main points again. The Agile Inside Out Blueprint. The workshop. It's ready and waiting for you. Enter your name, enter an email address. You will be into the first video. Once you're into the first video, you can click through to the second. When tomorrow rolls around and the third one is published, I will send you another email, and also you'll find that link magically becomes clickable from the second to the third. Tomorrow is the one where you get the blueprint itself. It doesn't have top secret written across it, and it doesn't have any blurred outness either, so it's all there. You'll be able to read all of the detail. And then the final one coming on Friday, and then you have another week-ish after that. But on the 31st, it all goes away. So don't delay. Watch it today. And since you've been nice enough to come here today, either live or in the replay, it would be awesome if you would do a little bit of sharing. As we had before, Lizzie is going to be sharing, I think, with her Scrum Master. So let's follow Lizzie. Share this with colleagues, team members, perhaps with your business, perhaps with that. What did we say that little critter was? Was that a stakeholder? That little fellow that we had on Seuss, Dr. Seuss's picture? Okay, I'm not going to get into pronouncing that again. We are almost at the hour. I tend to start lives. Oh, they're lives now. I tend to start with a cup of tea. I tend to end by saying that there's a beer waiting for me, a cold one waiting for me. So I'm going to head off for that. I should, of course, add that non-alcoholic alternatives are available. Thank you very much indeed. Time for me to hit the red button. Brilliant that you were all here. I still can't believe it. Fantastic. Thanks for joining me. And yeah, now that this has kind of worked, you might be seeing me again soon. Oh, one last. Faisal says, well, at least he's pronouncing my name right. Much appreciated. Got one right. That's one more than I usually do. Okay, people, I am hitting that big red button. Thanks again. And yeah, see you soon. Cheers for now.